6:50 here on BT Vancouver. A dark cloud over downtown. Russ will have your weather details in just a few. But first, students in British Columbia are set to head back to school, but only on a voluntary part-time basis. Joining us now on what we can expect the classroom to look like is the president of the BC Teachers Federation, Terry Morning. Good morning, Terry. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
So what can students and teachers expect school to look like on June 1st? I can imagine it's going to be a little different.
It's going to be quite different. And so what I anticipate is going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of procedures set up in place so that parents and families know exactly how to drop their students off, how students are going to enter and exit the building. There's going to be about half the number of students in place as there normally would be. And so they'll be scheduling around, which students come on which day and that kind of thing. So it's going to be quite different.
How is it going to work for teachers if, say, half of the class is in the classroom, but the other half is still learning online?
So this is something that I know is being worked out at the district level right now. What can happen is teachers can't have two jobs. They can't both be working in the classroom and working remotely. And so there needs to be some sort of understanding around that. We also have teachers that are not going to be able to return to work because they have to, they have underlying conditions or they're immune compromised. And so there'll need to be some accommodation made for them. And so, it's our hope that these are some of the teachers that can be working with some students online. Well, the K-5 teachers are in classrooms. And what it looks like right now is mostly 4 days a week.
Okay. 4-day week, 4-day work week, maybe. People are talking about that
too.
Well,
it's not a 4-day work week for teachers.
Right.
What it will look like is half the class every other day for 4 days. Then on the 5th day, teachers connecting with those students that are working remotely. And doing some planning. And so for teachers, it'll be a full 5-day work week. And what's happening right now is that the remote emergency learning is very labor intensive because, teachers don't sit down with their entire class during that time. They connect with individual students throughout the day. And so teachers are putting in many, many hours remotely. And so that can't happen. That can't continue at the same time. They're in classrooms, 5 days a week. So
right.
There's some planning around that right now.
A lot of teachers that we've been speaking to as well have expressed concern about cleanliness. Some saying it was even difficult to meet standards before COVID. Have school boards, have they been able to hire more janitors?
So this is really understandable. We've had in the school system in BC 16 years of underfunding. And so that has led to districts having to make decisions like cutting janitorial staff, for example. That was, something that was decided pre-COVID, and now that's not acceptable in COVID. And so there's an understandable level of skepticism about whether schools are going to be clean enough. The government has set out some really high standards for school districts to follow, and so that has to be the case. So priorities are going to have to change during this time.
Okay. So how many students and teachers do you expect to show up on June 1st? Because this is a voluntary basis.
It is, and I think that was really important to establish right off. In other jurisdictions, what we've seen is between 30% and 40% of students returning. Parents are going to make decisions for all different kinds of reasons. Perhaps their children are immunocompromised. Perhaps, this is going to be too disruptive to their schedules. It is going to be part-time, so some, families are going to have some difficulty managing that. And so, I anticipate, about that same amount coming back, but it's hard to say. I know some districts are doing some surveying right now of families, and that's probably an appropriate approach so that some careful planning can be done.
All right. Thank you for answering some very important questions this morning, Terry.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. It is